there. This is going to be a short little narration about raising shiitake mushrooms. Well, here we are at my holding yard. It's in the shade, which is a very good place to have it so that the logs don't dry out. And I got them stacked up vertically or angular or laying on the ground. Here's some of my hardwood logs. We always use hardwoods. We don't use softwood, no evergreens. These logs have been inoculated 27 months ago, and they are really working out well. You've got to wait 27 months times to get some shiitake. These are the oaks that are lying at an angle. We also have shiitake logs that are laying flat close to the ground so that they get some of the wet effect from the ground. These happen to be maple logs. These are king hickory logs, and those are wild cherry logs. I'm going to show you these maple logs, which I injected this past spring. That makes them April, May, June, July. They're only 4 months old and they're too young to be put in the soak tank to sprout some shiitake mushrooms. Give you an idea what they look like. This here maple log has got about 40 holes drilled in it, and they're about 6 inches apart. And then you rotate a log, and then you get them between the 6 inches so it's diamond shaped around the whole log. So this thing has got 40 potential places for mushrooms to come out. And the life of these mushrooms, they'll last from 1 to 5 years. It depends how moist I keep them. You don't want them to dry out. And over here we have another stack of logs. These are oak logs, and they've been here since this past spring, so they're only about 4 or 5 months old. This is what they call log cabin or crib style. Another good thing, close up please, this here sapwood ring, the more sapwood in the log, the better the peg will inject itself into the length of the log. The thicker, remember this one now, the thicker the sapwood, the more potential. And in this pile we have some logs that have been in the soak. I've got them tagged. What I do is, when I get done with them, I put them in a spot with a tag on them. I give them a 3-month rest. Those have been rested. Those have been rested. And this pile has been rested. And then I'm going to take these out and take them down to the soak tank, put them in again, and they're good for 1 to 5 years. And we'll show you how they put them in the soak tank down at the stack tank at the end of the road. Here we are at my soak tank location. It's a regular stock tank that farmers use, and I use it as a soak tank. I have water coming out of my underground well that is purified water. There are no chemicals in it to bother those shiitakes, and the water temperature is anywhere from 57 in the wintertime to a temperature of 67 like it is now. So here we are. I gotta take out my float device that keeps the logs underwater. Very important. And these are shorties, experimental logs with all the information on them. And I put hooks on them like that. There's a reason for that. I'll show you why when we get up to the laying site. Number 2. There's one. We get the other one. These stay in the water for 24 hours. This is the shock treatment. That's what you need to wake these logs up. Another thing they like to wake them up is to thump them, on a hard rock. This goes back to Chinese days, 2,000 years ago. They like to strike them to wake them up. Okay, these logs are full logs. They take a little bit more doing to get out. There's a biggie. That's a full log. We'll take that up to where I go to the fruiting area on top of the hill. And this is log number 4. We use the little wagon here to go up the hill, and we're going to go up to the fruiting area now. Now this is my fruiting yard. This also has shade. This is a big old willow tree, and you get a little breeze through here. There's 5 or 6 things that these logs need to fruit. They've got to be cut in the winter time when all the sugars are in the wood. They got to be drilled within 2 weeks after you cut them down in the winter or early spring. You drill these holes, put the plugs in there, or the thimbles, or the case may be, put a coat of wax on them, and I put these screw eyes in there, so I keep them off the ground while they're fruiting, so that the slugs, the snails, like to chew on these when they're close to the ground. So I'm going to hang these 2 up there with the other 2, and we'll carry on from there. One. And this is number 2. Now these 2 logs just came out of the soak tank, and in 3 days they will begin to button. They will start with little buttons, and then on the 5th day they'll look just like this. And then I give them 2 or 3 more days until these caps get to be about 2.5 inches in diameter, and then we'll cut them, package them, put them in the fridge, and out they go. They're pretty little mushrooms. They look oriental. The public go wild for them. This one here is not moving as fast as this one. They both came out at the same time, and that's how shiitake logs are. Some are temperamental. They take longer to catch up to one of these like that. And these 2 here, give them 3 days, 4 days, they're gonna look just like that. Well, this is our first presentation. My cameraman, Eric Blomquist, and myself, Jan Ski, and this is my fruiting room. End of story.